how many of you have heard of the Women's Business Center? Okay, how many of you have heard of the Catalyst? Okay, we are one and the same. So how many of you have utilized the services of the Catalyst? I know that about 25%. Okay, what I really want to do by the end of today is to have everybody in here a reason that you would want to utilize our services. So I'm going to focus more today on where we were and then where we have been, because when it comes to business ownership, the two biggest areas that people have issues, what is it? Besides getting started, yes, but absolutely, that is you're looking for finance. There you go, financing, and then how to communicate your message or marketing. So we find that the two biggest areas when it comes to anything related to business is marketing and finance. So when Vicki asked me to do this topic, I thought, well, I could come and I could do a canned presentation on the services that the Catalyst provides, but you might want to know a little bit about why we do that and who we're serving. And you can take this information and take it back into your business. So let's talk. Why do you think we rebranded from WBC&A?
Because a lot of people thought it was gender specific.
Very good. Anybody else?
It was women only.
Pardon me?
It was for women only.
It's for women only?
To expand your services.
Expand services. Anybody else? These are all correct, by the way.
Part of the nature of the business.
Nature of the business. Very good. Anybody else? What are some of the things you heard us called? Do you guys know what WBC&A stands for? Women's Business Center. North Alabama. Okay. Well, let me tell you about some of the things we were called. So WCNB, that was one. WBC, Women's Business Council, instead of Women's Business Center. My absolute favorite was Wabuckna. That was my absolute favorite. And I said, I'm sorry, who? And they were like, Wabuckna, you're with Wabuckna. It's like, I don't even know what Wabuckna is. Oh, WBC&A. And it's just a lot to say, hi, I'm Erin Bloxham-Curtis with the Women's Business Center of North Alabama. So I just really started thinking about this process and where it is that we want to go. Rebranding is not something you should ever take lightly. However, when you realize that your services now expand outside of what it is that you're doing, you have to start looking. We all know what a business plan is, right? Okay, we all know how important a business plan is. If you are not constantly going back and reevaluating where you are on your mission and vision, then you are not paying attention to where you need to go to grow and how you're serving your target market. So constantly going back and looking, are we hitting our goals? Are we doing what we need to be doing? And are we doing it in the right manner is something that we all need to do no matter where we are or what industry. So it really started as this discussion. For our rebranding, this was the third time we attempted to do this. The first two times were not right. And that had a lot to do with founders still being on our board of directors because they were really ingrained as to why we were founded. And I'll go over that in just a second. This time, however, when you're looking at the ROI of what you're putting forward, we needed a brand new website. So our website developer came to us and said, your website, we've gone through all of our clients, and your website is rated on a C. A being quick fixes, B being we need some moderate changes, C, we've got to do a complete overhaul. So we started talking about that, and I don't know if anybody ever looked, well, I don't know if I have a picture of it or not, but when we look at our old website, I was like, it's not worth redoing. It's pretty bad. So why are we going to sink money into redoing a website when there's a lot of other things? We're going to put the cart before the horse. So we put it on hold. It took us 1.5 years to do this entire rebranding process because you cannot enter something lightly. But the website was that launch point that we needed to go back and revisit that. And I'll be honest with you, when we started the process, we were 6 months into it and we didn't have a good name. And if we don't have a good name, we didn't have a good launching point. And so we said, let's put it on hold. Let's take a couple of months and just let it marinate. And when we came back to it, we came back fresh. And that was the best thing that we could have done because I'm very proud of what we were able to accomplish outside of that. But in order to know where you need to go, you have to know where you have been. And that was the biggest thing for us. So we know that we started as a women's business center, and we started because that was the service that was needed at that time. Well, that was in 2000. Women felt like they did not have a group here in town that catered to their needs specifically. So the Women's Business Center was formed outside of that. We hear a lot of people say, I want to start a nonprofit, I want to start a nonprofit. It took 6 years to get that off the ground because it was strictly volunteer run. In 2003, they were able to hire a part-time executive director who is actually she's our CEO and president today, Joanne Randolph. However, the first funding stream did not come in until we secured in 2006, the Women's Business Center grant from the Small Business Administration. Because with grants, you have to have what? Past performance. So you can't just launch off saying, hey, I've got this great idea. Well, show me how you've implemented it. Show me how you do it. It's the same thing when it comes to customers. How have you served other customers like me in the past? You have to have some sort of a launching point. So when we started that process, we got this phenomenal grant, $150,000 a year, to provide services to women and women only. The Women's Business Center of North Alabama was officially on the way. Well, does anybody know what happens when you say something is just for women that we didn't expect to happen? Guess who shows up? Men. And it turns out that men really like that style of communication because it's nurturing. It's, I can take a step back and you're gonna help me walk through that. You're gonna say that to me in a very different manner than if I was going somewhere else. We were not prepared for that at all. Then the comments started coming of, well, do I have to wear a dress if I come? Well, no. Can I come? I can't come. Is it open to me? So then our mission changed to, we serve men and women. That's silly. Why are we having to explain that when the problem really became our name? So we outgrew our name. In the entire history since we've been the Women's Business Center, the catalyst, we've served over 22,000 people. 60% of those have maintained to be women because of the nature of how we were started. We want to grow that, and we have amazing things in store, and we treasure the relationships we have with everybody. But we knew that it was really time for that change. So, you know a little bit about who we are, as far as where we have been. And I could sit here and I could tell you more, but we have this phenomenal video in which we showed, has anybody been to the Entrepreneur Awards? We launched that 2 years ago, so we've got some people in here. We launched this at the Entrepreneur Awards this year. 4 Mile Post did it. Excellent production company, and it is, usually we do our impact statement on a sheet of paper and we hand it out and it's great. We wanted to put it in a video this time, and we wanted to explain why we were rebranding, so here we go. Okay, Ross, am I not? Okay.
2016 was a phenomenal year for WBCNA, our partners, and everyone we serve. We want to give you an insider's perspective. Being an entrepreneur is about following a desire, a passion, a vision. We think about the next big thing and how we can change the world. It's about knowing it's a journey, not simply a destination. We think for ourselves and create to benefit our communities. We want to take the calculated risk, to dream and to build. We prefer the challenges of life, the thrill of fulfillment, to the guaranteed existence. It's about taking the risk to see your dream come true. Our support is strong. Our staff is growing. Our services are expanding. Our entire organization is growing.
No, because that would have meant that I was thinking through all of this morning at 7 o'clock. Okay, no, but you put your card in the information, or you can hand it to me.
Our services now extend from coast to coast. Growing our business has been as much about the innovation, drive, and determination of our staff and clients as it has been about the services we offer. Serving many different entrepreneurs gives our organization and its clients unique opportunities.
We have experienced success in the past several years.
Perfect, you bet.
And the numerous opportunities provided by your organization.
Your special organization helps businesses of absolutely all types and sizes achieve their goals.
As a service-disabled veteran and small business owner, I've had a chance not only to share the business lessons that I've experienced, but I learned something new from almost everyone in the meeting.
Being a business owner of a new technology is very risky, so your organization gives businesses the tools to help overcome most of them. If you don't know the answer, you will find someone that will.
Without you, I would not have been able to advance as a business the way I have. My success is everyone's success.
For an established small business, the services you provide help us mature and position the company for growth. We also appreciate the passion your team has for small businesses.
Serving beyond expectations and reaching ever forward, we have become the Catalyst.
All right, so that gives you a little history. Anybody have an aha moment out of that? Did you know that we serve from coast to coast? From coast to coast. So we have clients come from all areas. We just did an event called Doing Business with the State. I don't know if anybody attended that, but it was for commercial companies to learn how to do business with the state of Alabama, because there are tons of opportunities. And it's not just about government contractors. Well, now they want us to go and do it in other areas. So we're going to be taking that and doing it in Mobile, in Montgomery as well. Here's what's really interesting. They have companies there that can do that. We have just set ourselves up as the center of excellence because of the infrastructure that we have and the way that we execute it. And so when I looked at the demographics, I went, it really doesn't surprise me that we have spanned that much, but I absolutely loved being able to say we truly served from coast to coast last year. It was really amazing. Okay, but it wasn't just about a name change. And that's what I want to talk to you about in this last little portion. When you look at what it is that you're doing, it's not just about going to a name. Yes, this is nice, pretty. We have a word in our office. I'm like, is it sexy? Okay, this is sexy. It's nice, it's crisp, it's clear. We got rid of all these, antiquated colors. We really gave everything a new look, okay? It isn't just about a new website. And I said earlier, this was our old website, lots of dark, here it is. And here we've gone to this brand new format, and it's gorgeous, and it's interactive, and it's very intuitive, and it does great things, but it's not just about the website, right? Okay? It's not just about our marketing, which, complete confession, I'm doing a presentation on rebranding and forgot all of my marketing material to include business cards. So keeping it real there. But it wasn't just about how are we going to take this brand, okay? We've got a new logo, now we've got a new website, now we've got collateral as well. It all blends. You can see it's all going together. It all fits. But that's not what it's just about. It's about changing the way that we are communicating what we are doing. And that is the biggest thing when you're talking about what you're doing, how you're communicating. What's your elevator pitch? Are you really attracting the clients that you want to with what it is that you're saying and what it is that you're putting out there? This is the biggest change that we went under. We got so focused on feature, sell, that we stopped telling the benefits of what it was that we do and what we have to offer. And that has been the biggest change in the way that we are communicating things. Before, you would hear, oh, we're the Women's Business Center. That's a Women's Business Center project. That's a TechRich project. People had no idea that TechRich was part of WBCNA. They had no idea that the Women's Business Center was a separate project underneath. We completely changed the way that we talk about things. You won't hear those things anymore. What you're going to hear is what the benefit is of what it is that we're providing. Our mission, it changed, and that's okay. It's okay to say we have grown beyond what our mission is. It's not mission sprawl, it's changing your focus. It's changing how you're communicating and what it is that you're saying. So we will always serve this area, but you see, there's nothing in here that says anymore that we're for men and women, because we're serving entrepreneurs. We want to be that stop. We want to be the catalyst to start that economic development in every stage of growth. Okay? We do that the same way we have been before. It's just in a different manner. We're talking about it differently. We're always going to be about networking. We're always going to be about building relationships. We're always going to have our coaching and our training. Coaching is always going to be a free option. We just want to tell you what those benefits are instead of feature. We have 6 focus areas, which is the biggest change of the way that we're communicating. Did anybody know that we focused on all 6 of these things? So a couple people. So chances are everybody falls into one of these areas. So what do? We focus on startups and entrepreneurs. We focus on established businesses veterans, women, government contractors, innovation and technology. The biggest thing about this, women is now just one of 6 focus areas. It's not the focus. So how do we do that? Well, this is where we used to start. Nobody cares about this. Okay? Do you care that it's what program it's funded by? I don't. I just want to know that I go to the Catalyst and that you're going to give me free coaching. Or I'm going to go to the Catalyst and I'm going to get great training. You absolutely could care less which project it is funded by. That was monumental because we felt it was important. What we weren't thinking of was how our client was hearing it. And what happened is our client was hearing that these were 3 different entities and not associated with the main brand. How are you communicating what you're doing? And that's what I want you to think about. How are you communicating what you're doing? It should be about the benefit, not the feature. The feature is way below. All right, so when we rebrand, y'all, we had a lot of these. A lot of these. So I just thought I would tell you a couple of things when you're looking at your marketing. Because it is really easy to look at something and pick it up and go, oh yeah, I don't like the look of that anymore. So you go and you make a change to it. Okay, well that's great. So you've changed your website. Well, what else is your website listed on? And that's when you start realizing, oh, it's listed on this, it's listed on that, oh, it's listed on this. When you have a name, especially like we did since 2000, there is a ton of stuff that we didn't think about when it came to rolling out our brand because it wasn't just about some great video. It wasn't just about marketing materials. It was like, oh, our DUNS number. That's a big one. Our grants are all underneath the Women's Business Center of North Alabama name. Having to change the name, having to change the name associated with the DUNS number because we go after federal grants. And so when it came to that, we had to make sure that all of that, and we had a big project that was due and payouts that were needing to come back, and our numbers and names weren't matching. Y'all, that's a big one. So I just want to be honest because if I'm not honest, then we make it look like this rosy show. And that's not what we're about. We are working our business every day just like you guys are. We treat our nonprofit like a business. We want it to grow. We want it to expand. And we do that by serving you guys. And in this particular incident, I just wanted to be honest. I wanted to have transparency about it. I felt for the first 3 months after the rebranding that the biggest fault that we did was not communicated internally. Because I thought, well, everybody's at the table. Everybody's hearing the same message. Make sure your team understands where you're going and how to get there. And it's going to take a lot of effort. Because you are really changing everything. You are changing the way that you have done it for the last 13 years. And just because you're passionate and just because you're excited about it doesn't mean everybody else gets it on the same level. So for the first 3 months, I felt like every time I went to go take a step forward, oh, I've got this great idea. It's this great new thing. And then I'd go, oh yeah, that login, it's underneath WBCNA, which is associated with WBCNA, which now I've had to take 10 steps back just to create what I thought was one really easy, simple thing. So we're still working through a lot of that, and that was just one of those things that you just don't think about because it's a great new sexy project, right? So we go back and we think about the details, and I'm not afraid to tell you we've had a lot of those, but I feel like that's what makes us good teachers. Don't do what we did. So, yeah. So I'm happy to say there weren't a whole lot. But there's enough for me to be able to say, did you think this through? Did you think this through? The biggest thing is what we have seen for our clients. It is absolutely amazing to us within the first 2 months that people were coming to us who had never heard of WBCNA before. That's huge. In the first 30 days, we had a training that nobody in the room had ever heard of us as WBCNA. That says that we were clearly missing an entire population. And with this new name change, doors have opened. The fact that we've gotten some of the opportunities that we have is strictly, in our opinion, because women is not attached to that. I never in my life thought I would hear any of our board members or our staff say we need to man it up. I mean, that was funny. So I've got some brochures, and I looked at them, and I was like, what do you think of this? And the comment was, too much women, man it up. And I was like, you're right. That's where we were for so long. And so it is about that equal balance, because the message we put out is what we're going to be getting back. And what we have gotten back is incredible growth, especially with established businesses. So just keep that in mind. What you're putting out is what you're getting back in. And your name is just the starting point for that. Catalyst team, this is our team. And I want to be cognizant of the time. Our CEO, I'm the COO. Everybody else down here, what's important is that we're a team. Every one of those 3 projects are managed by these 3 individuals. We all have our areas that we're going to focus on. Katie's going to focus on programming that has to do with startups and entrepreneurs, women. Megan's going to be her support. Floyd and Jennifer down here, and Tom, they're going to be focusing on the government contracting things. We've got some really big things ahead of us next year. If you haven't learned about what we have available on our website, we have a membership program that launched this year too, because we want this to be about what you're experiencing just as much as what we're able to give. The membership program allows you to get any training at a discounted price. Our coaching is one thing that we do that will always be free. If you are interested in our coaching services, we have that available through our subject matter experts, and that's who's taking advantage of coaching. I know you guys have gone through the Engage, so great. So the way that we onboard clients through our process is you come to an orientation. It's called the Engage program. You come to an orientation, you find out what we do, and then outside of that, we put you through a 2-hour workshop that roadmaps where you really are and what your needs really are. Because 9 times out of 10, what you think your need is not really what your need is. And that's okay, because I'm coming to you and I'm like, oh, we need a new website. No, you need a new name. That's what you really need. So we use that same service back and forth. So that avenue, coaching, use and abuse it. It's a free 1-hour service. If you have anything that you need advice on, that's what that coaching is for. So for instance, you're going to be moving into a brick and mortar building. You've got a lease. Well, how do I know that that's the right lease? Okay, bring it to us. Go through the Engage program. Once you're in, you can go back and see them time and time again. They'll review it. They'll give you advice on it. Anything that is advice-based, we do 100% for free. So I could keep on talking. I'm sure everybody's got, like, well, how can you help me? What can I do this? Are there any questions that I can answer?